A record of the assembled immortals and gathered perfected of the western hills. Xi Jianwu's Taoist classic on internal alchemy and the cultivation of the breath, by Richard Bertschinger. A short note on reading the text. There are two distinct ways of reading these dense spiritual texts. One is quicker, to let the strange words and passages wash over you, without too much thinking what they mean. The other is slower, letting the significance of each phrase resonate in the brain, sparking involvement and depth of feeling. Both are fine and both okay. Think of it as approaching a banquet, some dishes to be savored, others consumed with their accompanying sauces and condiments easing their passage. You are literally munching meaning. Here is a summary of the highlights. The first section explains the historical context of this remarkable method of softening the breath. Chapter 1 explains the one path, the Tao, and is fairly self-explanatory. Chapter 2 tells us that it all hinges on acting naturally. Simply marry together both forms of breathing, the true yin and proper yang, and it is then possible to form an inner medicine. Chapter 3 explains how to secure this illicio, health-giving method, essentially not to make too much of it, but to remain peacefully and inwardly content without striving. Chapter 4 speaks of timing this action, along with the turning over of the natural world, the crux of the affair. This is our task, to silently join in fit accord with yin and yang, smelting out the true yin and yang in the body. This chapter contains the first mention of sustaining, that is, sustaining the yin and yang of all life. Chapter 5 continues to elaborate on the same theme, extracting the true yin and yang breaths. The second section describes further the sustaining. This means sustaining the true yin and yang. Chapter 6 explains sustaining life through the quiet withdrawal of the body and the physical senses. The Zhou Yi Can Dong Qing concludes, the ear, the eye, and mouth, these three jewels, block and stop them up, do not let them gape. Chapter 7 and 8 continue the same theme. Chapter 9 emphasizes uncluttering the heart. The final chapter, Chapter 10, points us towards our ultimate goal, walking in the divine. The next section is on rebuilding, that is, rebuilding our physical health, fluid essences, vital breaths, spirit, etc. Chapter 11 is specifically on rebuilding the body's internal form and sustaining its 5 main internal breaths. Chapters 12, 13, and 14 are also on rebuilding and strengthening the 5 internal organs, zhang. In Chapter 15, an additional method is given, using the sound and voicing certain common words or sounds under the breath, the method of the 6 character breaths, meaning there is sound for each of the main organs. These activities further strengthen the breath. The penultimate section does no more than verify this remarkable technique. Chapters 16 to 19 elaborate previously described practices, giving the detail. They describe special alchemic happenings in the body, the merging of the true yin, fluid, and proper yang, breath, forming a state of so-called perfection. Chapter 20 identifies the end of the quest, a quiet and gentle form of foetal breath, as if we were still a foetus in our mother's tummy, breathing out as our mother breathes out, and breathing in as she breathes in. This is the highest achievement we are able to attain in this dusty world. It fits and fortifies us with its great simplicity. The last section in the book is on refining the technique. It is achieved through making quiet and settled times during the day to work on the breath. This should be practiced at regular intervals, time set aside for just being with the practice. Good luck.